Making hyperfocus a habit. We are feeling stressed or bored. We are working in a chaotic environment. We are dealing with thinking about the number of personal concerns. We are questioning whether we are working on the most productive and meaningful task, or we have unused attention space. The more we have, the more prone we are to mind-wandering episodes. When our skills greatly exceed the demands of a task, such as when we do mindless data entry for several hours, we feel bored. When the demands of a task exceed our skills, such as when we are unprepared to give a presentation, we feel anxious. When the demands of tasks are roughly equal to our ability to do that task, if you find it difficult to become immersed in your work throughout the day, it's worth questioning whether your tasks are difficult or complex enough. If your mind is still frequently wandering, even after implementing the ideas in the previous chapters, it's a pretty good sign. Your tasks aren't complex enough and don't consume enough of your attention space. On the opposite end of the spectrum, if you find you're anxious at work, even after taming distractions and are working with more attention, consider whether your current skills are a good match for the task at hand. Because I think of myself as a pretty productive guy, my failure was tough to admit to myself, but it taught me an essential lesson. Doing mindless stuff at work or at home is not only unproductive but also a sign you don't have enough important work. This also accounts for why busy work gets set aside. When you're at deadline, there is no time available to contain extension. This advice is counterintuitive, and the very idea may turn you off if you already feel your working in capacity. But it's worth considering. When we do knowledge for a living, we procrastinate, spending time and attention on email and social media. Tasks that makes us feel productive in our work will lead us to accomplish little. The greater your working memory capacity, the more information you can hold. At the same time, the greater your ability to process any complex tasks. A higher working memory capacity has been shown to reduce mind wandering when you are focused on accomplished tasks. A larger attention space also helps you get back on track quicker after your mind wanders or you become distracted. So how exactly do you expand the size of your attention space? There is, however, one practice that has been proven in study after study to increase working memory capacity: meditation. Meditation. In practice, it's actually quite simple. Like hyperfocus, meditation involves in continually returning your focus on a single object of attention, usually your breath, as soon as you notice your mind has wandered from it. How much control you have over your attention, this eventually enables you to improve each measure of the quality of your attention. You will be able to focus for longer, your mind will wander less, and you will be able to work with greater intention. You experience this same benefit during hyperfocus. Like meditation, hyperfocus is a practice that compounds upon itself. The more you practice, the more you learn to manage your attention, and the longer you're able to focus the next time around. Meditation is simple. Sit somewhere with your eyes closed and pay attention to your breath. It's natural to feel as if you are doing it wrong, especially at first, but don't overthink it. The effects of this simple practice are actually profound. One study discovered that when participants developed a meditation practice, not only did their minds wander less, but they could also focus for longer before that happened. Two measures of the quality of attention. The most validated technique for minimizing the disruptive effects of mind wandering. Notice the qualities of your breath and focus on them whenever your mind wanders. I highly recommend using an app to get started. I like Headspace and Insight Timer. When you practice being with your breath, you practice being with your life. But meditation is not only a tool in this toolkit. Practicing mindfulness is another proven way to increase the size of your attention space. It's similar to meditation, but a little less intimidating. Mindfulness is about becoming conscious of what is filling your mind and noticing the circumstances of the current moment. This includes noting anything you happen to be perceiving, feeling, or thinking. Mindfulness differs from hyper-focusing on one major aspect. It's about focusing on the circumstances of the present, rather than becoming immersed in them. A mindful shower is one in which you focus on your sights, sounds, and sensations of the present. It enables you to train your brain to better focus on what's in front of you. Anchor your attention to the circumstances of the present moment. Notice the smell, taste, and a feeling of cup of coffee, a moment that shifts in your body as you walk from one room in the office to another, or the temperature and sensations of taking a shower. You can set a time or night, simply be with the circumstances of the present moment, and notice as much as you can about what you're seeing, hearing, and feeling. When you find yourself becoming lost in thought, bring your mind back to know what you originally intended to focus on, and laugh at how difficult it can be to think. Don't be hard on yourself when your mind wanders. Remember, your brain was built to do this. Here's the key. The smaller object of attention, the more your mind will wander. But the more you expand the size of your attention space and as you focus on it, the more quickly you're able to get back on track. After your mind ventures off during the mindfulness or meditation session, the better you will become and focus at work, at home. That's true. Practices like meditation and mindfulness are also powerful because they train you to practice holding a single intention in your mind for a given period of time. Holding a single intention. Beautiful. During your meditation, you sit with an intention of being with your breath until your time goes off. The same is true when you practice mindfulness until the coffee cup is empty or half full, your shower is finished, or you're done walking to where you intend to go. You focus on what you're doing then and there. When you keep a single intention in mind, you're able to live and work more intentionally for the rest of the day too. And because both meditation and mindfulness increase the size of your attention space, both practices make you more likely to maintain intentions. As if these benefits weren't enough, meditation and mindfulness also help you step back from your thoughts. This makes it infinitely easier to check what's occupying your attention space. The more you notice what you grasp your attention, the more quickly you'll be able to redirect it to your intention. With enough awareness, you might even notice your mind has wandered to somewhere productive and you want to continue to train of thoughts. 맞아요. That's correct. Such as when you seeking external stimulation or about to fall victim to seductive distraction. That's right. I fall victim seductive distraction. Seductive distraction. Seductive distraction. There is seductive distraction. Yes. The research is clear. Mindfulness and meditation improve virtually every aspect of how you manage your attention. I tried doing the same during the extended 2 hours meditation practice the next day, and my mind has never wandered so much. With an object of attention that small, it's a surprise. The quality of attention is so integral to productivity that increasing it even slightly makes a remarkable difference in how much we accomplish. Even only a few minutes a day will help immensely. If you take away one lesson from this chapter, it should be that few practices will improve the quality of your attention and the size of your attention space more than meditation and mindfulness. While both will consume some of your time, you will make that time back, and then some, in how much more clearly, deeply, deliberately you'll think about. You think and focus. Chances are, you're in hyper-focus mode during your last highly productive work period. You were likely in a similar state the last time you felt the happiest and energized at home. You're probably focused on just one thing. You're probably focused on just one thing, whether it was carrying on a meaningful conversation with a loved one, planting a garden, playing cards with a relative, or relaxing with a book on the beach. Okay. The one thing you are doing consumed your full attention space. Because of this, your library didn't have many surrounding distractions. Your work phone may not be in the other room, and you may have in a community to concern. What? This? Oh, okay. This is connect for the weekend. Your family may have agreed to phone-free dinner. You are probably also more relaxed and stay. And because of this, didn't seek novel stimuli in your environment. You couldn't focus with relative ease on what you are doing. Hyperfocus was the best thing I could come up with to describe this state of being totally focused on one thing. I like to do this by setting 3% daily attention in addition to my 3 work goals, even if one happens to be binge watching a show on Netflix. One area I've noticed that particularly benefits from hyperfocusing conversations. The secret to deep, meaningful conversation is simple. Putting your complete attention to the person you're speaking with. You can do this in many ways, such as by allowing someone to finish talking before you start. A simple but highly underutilized technique. I'm convinced that most people have a sixth sense and can tell when you're truly paying attention to them. It's a remarkable thing when you spend not just quality time with someone, but quality attention as well. Spending our times at home more purposefully also enables us to feel recharged. Whether at work or at home, the quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. At work, the more attention you give to what's in front of you, the more productive you become. At home, the more attention you devote to what's in front of you, the more meaningful your life becomes. Starting provides enough momentum to carry out our intentions. When you begin a new task, working on it for at least 1 minute with purposeful attention and limited distractions is critical. Here are many 4 favorite strategies for battling this initial resistance. Minimize the amount of time you would dedicate. Minimize the amount of time you would dedicate to focusing on one task until you no longer feel mental resistance to it. You always have time, you just want to spend it on other things. If the task swap shows you do have the time, chances are this is just your resistant talking. Incorporate at least an aware hyper-focusing interval each day. You'll experience less resistance as you get accustomed to working with fewer distractions and appreciate how productive you become. Hyper-focus be oddly energizing. You spend less on energy regulation your behavior when you don't have to continue to resist distractions and push yourself to focus on what's important. That said, resisting the ritual can also be a sign you need to recharge. So we can stop working in minutes in autopilot mode. Okay, here finally. So we can stop working on mindless autopilot mode. Hyper-focusing on our most complex productive tasks lets us activate the most productive mode of our brains and get a large amount accomplished in a short amount of time. Setting strong daily intentions lets us work on our most productive tasks. Creating a personalized distraction-free mode and a reduced distractions in a mode lets us work with more focus and clarity while directing our time and attention away from needless distractions. Simplifying our working and the living environments lets us think more clearly. Becoming good custodians of the attention space by making our work more complex where necessary and by expanding the limits of our attention helps us properly manage our limited attention. I hope you've already become more productive, more engaged with your work and life, and a clearer and a calmer thinker. You probably also remember more and view your work and life as more meaningful. All three measures of quality of your attention have also likely increased. You spend more of your time deliberately. You're able to focus longer in one setting, and your mind doesn't wander from your intentions nearly as much. Both practical and tactical. I hope you will agree. Attention is the most important ingredient we have to living a good, productive life. I call this modern scatter focus because in it, our attention scatters and focuses on nothing in particular, while hyperfocus involves directing your attention outward. Scatter focus is about directing it inward inside your own mind. Just as hyperfocus is most productive mode of the brain, scatter focus is more creative. Scatter focus can direct our productivity when our original intent is to focus. But when you're coming up with a creative solution to a problem, planning for the future, or making a difficult decision, it is just an essential hyperfocus. We can harness the remarkable benefits of a scatter focus by practicing intentional mind wandering. But daydreaming is immensely potent when our intention is to solve problems. Think more creatively, brainstorm new ideas, and recharge. As far as boosts our creativity is concerned, mind wandering is in a league of its own. Think back to your last creative insight. Chances are you won't have focusing on one thing. In fact, you probably won't. Focusing on much at all. You may have been taking an extra long shower, having a walk during a lunch break, visiting a museum, reading a book, and relaxing on a beach with a drink or two. Maybe you were sipping your morning coffee, then like a flash of lightning, a brilliant idea struck out of nowhere. Your brain mysteriously chose this moment when you were resting and recharging. It connected a few of a constellation of thoughts. Let's consider that to be any idea or piece of information you remember swirling in your head. Just as focus is your brains in the most productive mode, scatter focus is more creative. Entering scatter focus mode is easy. You simply let your mind be, just as you hyper-focus by intentionally directing your attention toward one thing. You scatter focus by deliberately letting your mind wander. You enter this mode whenever you leave attention space free around what you're doing in the moment. Whether going for a ride, biking, or investing time in anything that doesn't consume your full attention space. When it comes to productivity and creativity, scatter focus enables you to do three powerful things at once. Your brain automatically plans in for the future when you rest. You just need to give it the space and the time to do so. Scatter focus lets you recharge. Focusing on tasks all day consumes a good deal of mental energy. Even when you're managing and depending your attention space and using the tactics set out in part 1, scatter focus replenishes that supply so you can focus for longer. Scatter focus fosters creativity. The mode helps you to connect all ideas and create new ones. Plus, incubating thoughts into the surface of your attention space and lets you piece together solutions to problems. Scattering your attention and focusing on nothing in particular supercharges thought connecting parts of your brain. The more activity your job or project requires, the more you should deliberately deploy scatter focus. While it is to get excited about becoming highly productive and hyper-focused, scattering our attention is less exciting, at least in one's surface. When you are surrounded by so many novel and stimulating objects of attention, most of us don't want to be left alone with our thoughts. We focus on certain objects of attention by default, and doing so is what has allowed the human species to survive. We've already discussed and first the type of objective attention that draws us in it. Anything that's novel, this is what makes us in smartphones and other devices is so enticing, while we find less than novel tasks such as writing a report boring, regardless of how much they lead us to accomplish. The writing in our brain that in our evolutionary past led us to store sugars and have sex as a survival mechanism now leads us to overindulge in fast food and pornography. Continually scanning for threats isn't what compels us to dwell on that one negative email or overthink a careless and offhand comment from our boss. But once aided our chances in survival now sabotages our productivity and creativity in the modern world. It makes it our most urgent tasks feel a lot more important than they actually are. It affords us an ability to plan for the future, learn from the past, and have daydreams and inspire remarkable insights. It helps us search inward and for solutions in external situations, whether we are solving massive problem or trying to solve how we usually take acts. Most remarkable scatter focus enables us to stop back from life and to work and live more intentionally. Okay, when your mind wanders, it visits two main places, the past, the present, and the future. This is precisely why scattering your attention allows the creative to flood as you travel through time and connect to what you've learned, to what you are doing, and what you want to achieve. This enables you to work with a great attention as you consider your future and think about what you should be doing in the present to make it a reality. Fun fact: 38% of past-related thoughts connected with earlier in the day events, 42% related to the previous days, and 20% involves in ruminating on what happened in the more distant past. Our mind is wired to not only perceive but also remember threats like that one negative email that we can't forget. It does this so we learn from our mistakes, though it becomes annoying when it throws in random memories at us throughout the day. On some level, these past thoughts speak to a part of a scared focus. When we daydream, we often experience our thoughts as if they were real. Cringe-worthy memories strike from out of blue, hijack our attention, and lead us to tense up at the stupid stuff we've said and done. Wandering thoughts about what we are currently working on usually prove to be fairly productive. We need to reflect on our tasks in order to work more deliberately. Neurologically speaking, it's impossible to both focus on something and reflect on the thing at the same time. This makes entering scatter focus critical. Without entering scatter focus mode, you never think about the future. It's only once you step back from writing an email, drafting a paper, or planning your budget that you can consider alternative approaches to the task. This mode also enables us to better weigh the consequences of each decision and the past. And thinking about the future, we flick off autopilot mode and have the space to step back and consider how we want to act before our habits and routines make the decision for us. As well as helping you plan for the future, recharge, and connect ideas, research suggests that scatter focus mode also allows you to become more self-aware, incubate ideas more deeply, remember and process ideas and meaningful experiences and more effectively, reflect on the meaningful of your experiences. Show greater empathy. Scatter focus gives you space and step into other people's shoes and become more compassionate. In one respect, scatter focus is on the mental mode to write about, as you need in a few instructions for how to let your mind wander. While hyperfocusing can be difficult, we already spend 47% of our day in something similar to scatter focus mode without any effort. Whenever our focus lapses and our attention wanders, there are two ways of your mind wanders, unintentionally and intentionally. Unintentional wandering takes place without your awareness. When you don't choose to enter into the mode. This is whether I draw the line between mind wandering and scatter focus. Scatter focus is always intentional. Intention is what makes scatter focus so powerful. This mode is always deployed deliberately and involves making a concerted effort to notice where your mind goes. Style. Capture mode is best for identifying what's on your mind. Problem crunching mode is best for molding up a specific problem or idea, and habitual mode is best for recharging and connecting the greatest number of ideas. This practice is as simple as sitting with a coffee, a pen, and a notebook, and waiting to see what rises in the surface of my consciousness. By the end of the process, my notebook is invariably full. I have scrolled with the names of people I should follow up with, stuff that I've been waiting to, and I also follow up about a list of people I should reconnect with, solutions to problems, tasks I've forgotten, house chores, intentions that I should set, and more. I usually feel energized at the end of this little ritual because I've been giving my mind a break. Projects and commitments weigh heavily on our mind, perhaps because our brain views them as threats. in capture mode, and your unsolved ideas and projects move to the forefront of your mind, ready to written down and acted upon later. Our mind's propensity to wander toward these resolved ideas is important. What makes a scatter focus so valuable? The open loops and become much more accessible. Whenever your mind ventures out to think about something unrelated or gets stuck on one point, gently nudge your attention back to what you intended to think about or the problem you intend to solve. I would do so while canoeing, or I would walk around in a town with an onion small notepad in my pocket. I printed my research notes and it's how to review problems before entering into problem crunching mode, and then let my mind wander around them for an hour or two at a time on nature walks, while listening to music, or in airplanes. I slowly untangled my notes and over the course of several weeks, shaping them into something that resembled a book. Problem crunching mode gives your mind the space and freedom to make these large leaps in your thinking. Try entering this mode if you haven't been able to solve a specific, non-linear problem in a traditional way. I usually enter problem crunching mode for 30 to 6 minutes at a time. I get restless. If it's any longer, test it and see what works for you. Habitual scatter focus is most powerful start of this mode, and is the one I recommend practicing the most often. I'm covering the last in case you're tempted to close and over the ones, which are fruitful but in different ways. As with other modes, habitual scatter focus is fairly easy. You simply do something habitual that doesn't consume your complete attention. This gives your mind the space to wander and connect ideas. Doing this is beneficial for countless reasons. For scatters, scatter focus is actually fun. When you engage in a habitual activity, you find it pleasurable. When you do something habitual that you enjoy, like walking to get a coffee, woodworking, or swimming laps, scatter focus becomes significantly more enjoyable. The happier you are in a scatter focus mode, the more benefits you will reap. An elevated mode actually expands the size of your attention space, which allows you to think more expansively. Your attention space isn't just essentially scatter focus mode, as it is a hyper-focus mode that is in a crash pad and your brain uses to connect ideas. A positive mode also allows you to wander more productively as you're dwelling less on a negative past. You also think about the future more frequently when doing something pleasuring. Your brain's prospecting biases grows even stronger. In addition, since doing a simple, pleasurable activity task in so little effort and self-regulation, you can recharge at the same time you scatter your attention. As well as being more fun, habitual tasks have been shown to yield the greatest number of creative insights when you compare with switching to another demanding task, resting, or taking no break whatsoever. It's also easier to stay aware of your thoughts when doing something habitual, as there is a greater attention space available to house your intention of being more aware of your thoughts. Again, this awareness is key. A creative thought is useless if it goes unnoticed. Habitual tasks can also encourage your mind to continue wandering. When you let your mind rest and wander, chances are you will want to continue this scatter focus exercise until you finish with whatever you started. A habitual task acts as a sort of anchor that guides your mind until you have completed the task. This enables you to keep going for longer, To practice habitual scatter focus, pick something simple that you enjoy doing. Then carry out the one task and nothing else until your mind wanders. The simpler the task, the better. Going for a walk will unearth great insights and connect more ideas than listening to music or reading a book. Good ideas will rise on the surface of your mind so long as you have attention to spare. If you notice your mind has wandered to the past or another unproductive place, allow it to wander. In habitual mode, you pretty much let your mind roam free. There is a beautiful simplicity in doing one easy thing at a time, like drinking a cup of coffee, walking to work, or doing the laundry. Scatter focus becomes more important in the moments in between tasks. A private reason many of us feel burned out is that we never give our attention a rest. Try this today. Don't bring your phone with you next time you walk to get a coffee or eat your lunch. Instead, let your mind wander. The fact of this simple decision alone is noticeable. If you don't check your phone each time a dinner date gets up from a table to go to the restroom, the meal will become more meaningful and memorable. By giving your attention a break, you will have an attention space to reflect on a conversation you've been having and what the other person means to you.